Hello, everyone. So welcome to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. Now, in previous podcasts that the Legal Paige has had, and in our blogs and posts that we oftentimes do online, I have told you that as a small business owner, you should not be using Venmo to run your business. Venmo's website even stated previously not to use Venmo for business transactions. And I've given you legal reasons and lists of why. But today, I'm going to change course a little bit, and I want to tell you one instance where you actually can use Venmo to help run your small business. And drum roll, please, it's the new Venmo Business Profile. And so I'm here today in this episode to help break it down for you. So let's just get right into it. You're listening to the Legal Paige podcast, where we chat about life and business with a legal twist. I'm Paige, attorney and photographer helping online businesses and creatives tackle their business dreams without breaking out in hives. No more legal mumbo jumbo. This podcast features simple, bite-sized advice that'll have you legally legit in no time. Are you ready? Let's get started. As a reminder, before we get into this episode, I am legally obligated to give my disclaimer. So I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney. All legal information I talk about on this episode is intended for the masses and a large variety of different businesses. I am only your attorney when you hire me and we sign an engagement letter for me to work specifically on your legal issues. Please feel free to seek out another attorney in your hometown if you need specific legal advice or contact me for more information. Alrighty, here's the episode, friends. As we get going here, I really just want to start off with a simple question of who can have a Venmo business profile. So the Venmo business profile is really only available through an invitation from Venmo itself. So you can get one if you're already signed up through Venmo. You've probably received emails. You can also just go to your app and usually it'll say you're invited at the top bar, or over on the side where you're clicking on your settings in Venmo, it'll say you're invited to the new Venmo business profile. Do you want to create one? In order to create that Venmo business profile, you'll need, though, an existing personal Venmo account to build off of. That's kind of the catch-all here, is you can't just randomly create a Venmo business profile. You actually have to have an existing Venmo account, which I find really interesting. And I'm sure Venmo will change this in time, but for now, this is what they're doing. So it's for individuals, usually sole proprietors, as well as registered businesses like LLCs. And you can link your individual profile to your Venmo business profile. And then the good thing here is you can expand your ability to take payments. So you can always have your personal profile for any transactions that you have from like friend to friend or family member to yourself. And then your business profile is going to have all of those cha-ching moments coming in and out of your Venmo business account for business transactions only. And you want to make sure that that account is set up to your business bank account. And then your personal Venmo profile is going to be on your personal checking account. So Venmo uses a national database to make sure that you're actually a business entity when you're creating your business profile. But sometimes the information in the database doesn't match up if you've moved or changed your name. So if that happens, Venmo will ask you for some verification documents and it'll say, are you an actual business, or, your business address and your personal address aren't matching up. So we just need more clarification on this to ensure they just want to check on their end that you're an actual business. So here are some documents that you need to have on hand. And essentially all you're going to do, you guys, is either upload a PDF or upload a JPEG, and you can just snap the photo on your phone and upload it straight from your phone if you're using Venmo that way. So the first is proof of business identity. And they're going to ask probably for some sort of document that confirms your EIN number. So just download that PDF that you got from the IRS website. And it's important to note here that the business name on that document, your EIN number, must match the full business name on your Venmo account. So if you're like a comma LLC, like I am, the Legal Paige, comma LLC, I file as an S corporation. But the one thing to note here is you have to ensure that that document that you're sending to Venmo, if it says the Legal Page LLC and your EIN number, then you need to make sure the Legal Page LLC is also the business name on your Venmo business account. Now, if you can't find your EIN number, there's other documents you can use as well, like your previous year's tax return that was prepared and signed by some third party like a CPA or TurboTax, a current bank statement that has been within the last 12 months that displays your actual EIN number and your actual business name, or like a credit card statement that also has your EIN and your business name there. Just remember, you can't use any like self-completed documents to fulfill this requirement. So you don't want to use any like letterheads or anything like that that you could create. Usually for verification of a business identity, it needs to come from some very reliable third-party government source like the IRS or your state government or an actual bank. But just another little tip here for EINs. Oftentimes people have a hard time finding these because when you sign up for them on the IRS website, you just go to irs.gov. It takes like 5 minutes to sign up for an EIN. It's completely free. I've talked about this in other podcast episodes. But if you are like, I don't know where this PDF document went, the easiest thing that I always suggest is when you get your EIN document from the IRS, that you either send yourself another reminder email with the EIN document attached, and then you put in the title of that your business name, and then EIN, and then federal EIN, and you also put it in the body of the email. And here's my biggest tip. You can easily search for that document in your email account. So that's a really good way to keep your EIN somewhere that you can easily find. Of course, I always suggest that you keep all of these business documents in a business folder on an external hard drive as well, so you have further copies and documents of that. Okay, so first, of course, Venmo's going to ask you for that proof of business identity, but second is proof of address. So this just confirms your business's mailing address through Venmo, and you have to have a physical address. So PO boxes won't work on this one. It's very, very similar to sometimes how, like, if you're registering your LLC, you actually have to have a physical address. Same thing here goes for Venmo Business Profile. And you have to be using this physical address within the past 12 months. So you can have a like utility bill or phone bill if it's actually going to that actual physical mailing address. Of course, you want to make sure that those bills are indicated to your business name. So it can't be like a personal bill. It has to match up, right, with your business identity. You can also have insurance or tax statements if you have like an insurance policy through your business. And then a current bank statement that might also have your business's full name and address, credit card statements. Just remember, you can't use envelopes, receipts, invoices, or any expired documents to fulfill that requirement through Venmo Business. But it's pretty simple, I promise you. But all in all, this step, proof of address, pretty simple. Just make sure that you're having some part of a document that's from a third party that has your business address on it. And then third step here is they're going to ask for proof of business existence. Now, this may seem like the same thing as a proof of business identity, but I promise you it is not. This requirement is some sort of document that's issued by your Secretary of State or similar agency that shows that your business has complied with the laws of the state, remains in good standing, and is authorized to transact business in that state. So this is going to be your LLC articles of organization that your actual state sent to you when you filed for your LLC or you filed for a DBA and you became an actual assumed business in your state. If you're a sole proprietor or an LLC, this will work either way, whether that's your LLC articles of organization or your certificate of filing your DBA in your state. And then again, if you're an LLC, you can also just submit your annual dues statement and certificate of good standing that you get every year when you file your annual dues with the state. Another option would be a government issued license or permit if you do have to have a very specific license or permit to do the services or provide the products that your business is providing. And then that would just also be from your Secretary of State or Department of the State, whatever issues these business documents on behalf of your state. Okay, so those three things, Proof of business identity, proof of address, and proof of business existence is what you're going to need to verify your business profile through Venmo, okay? Now, why are you getting a Venmo business profile? What are the perks and why is it important? So Venmo Business allows you to create a separate account and process and accept those separate payments for goods and services that are exchanged through your business, those cha-ching moments that I was talking about. Especially if you're an LLC, if you are using a Venmo personal profile, you've literally essentially just ripped up the whole point of your LLC. It's no longer an LLC because you're commingling funds. You're taking payments for business purposes on a personal account, and then you're probably transferring that to your personal checking, and then you're transferring to your actual business account. All of that defeats the purpose of not commingling funds. And your LLC, which has that, bubble surrounding it for limited liability protection from your personal assets, that doesn't exist, and that bubble is popped if you're commingling funds between your personal and business accounts. So here, the best part of Venmo Business is it allows you, one, to have a verified business profile that we just talked about, and then it also allows you to make sure that you're linking up your business checking account to that Venmo business profile. So then again, every time someone pays you, it's very clear they're paying your business for business services. And then you're just plopping that and transferring just like you do regularly with Venmo. You just transfer it to your business bank account, and you can just choose, when you're choosing how to send money or transfer money to your actual account, you just choose the correct bank account. Now, another really awesome perk of the Venmo business profile is that right now they're kind of still in beta testing phase, so there's no additional fees for transactions conducted through the Venmo business profile. But the one thing to remember is that as of April 1st, 2021, which is going to be coming up here shortly once this episode airs, they will be charging a per transaction fee. But the best part is it's really small. It's 1.9% plus 10 cents on every payment that's made to the profile. And Venmo, you guys will make sure that they notify you when this charge goes into effect. They could push it out a little bit more to get more people on the Venmo business profile. Again, they're just competing here with all third-party payment processors, but it's significantly less. Like 1.9% is almost 1% plus more than Stripe and PayPal and all of those. And then they usually charge more than plus 10 cents. So the Venmo business profile is still a great option when this per transaction fee comes into effect, and it's extremely less. So if you're taking huge chunks of change from your clients, say you're in the wedding industry or something, and you're taking thousands of dollars from clients and they're paying you via Venmo, it's going to save you tons of money if you're taking these payments via Venmo versus other third-party payment sites online. Drum roll, my friends. Are you ready to build a legally legit business? Well, you can become a TLP Insider today and get exclusive access to all of the top-notch resources that the Legal Paige has to offer. As a TLP Insider, you'll get insider access to all of our sales and promotions, aka better deals than anyone else, first dibs on freebies and classes that will help you legitimize your business and step into your role as a CEO. You'll also get jam-packed bi-weekly newsletter, so you're always up to date, and our full and unique perspective regarding the most pressing legal issues facing small business owners today. To get in on the inside, my friends, it's completely free. All you have to do is go to thelegalpage.com/TLP Insider. Again, that's thelegalpage, PAIGE.com/TLP Insider. All one word. And now that you're full blown on the inside, let's just hop back to the episode. Why don't we? Now, the one downside that I have found so far on the Venmo business profile is, unfortunately, you're not able to get a debit card through Venmo that you can link to your business profile. That would be really nice. And I know that they oftentimes do this for personal accounts where you can get a Venmo debit card and then you can, either transfer your funds to your personal account, or lots of people who have like side hustles or who, just want to like share back and forth via Venmo and like have that as their own bank account. Then they have this debit card and they can use the funds that are on their account without transferring, and you can just pay for things with your debit card. They don't have a business debit card yet that you can link to your business profile. So that being said, it's okay, right? It's not super confusing and it's not like too much of a burden. You just want to make sure you're solely receiving all of those incoming funds on your Venmo business profile and transferring them straight from Venmo into your business bank account. Please don't send this into your personal one. I think I've definitely gotten that point across here in this episode. But you want to make sure that you're using your bank-issued debit card for other business-related charges then, because everything you're receiving from Venmo is your income. You're transferring that income from Venmo to your business bank account, and then you're using your business bank account issued debit card for other expenses. And a question I'm getting a lot too is, what if I've already been using Venmo to take payments, Paige? So that's okay. If you've gone against my previous advice and have been using Venmo to take payments from your customers, or you have never heard my previous advice on Venmo and why legally that essentially just completely dissolves the LLC and the business you've tried to create and really enacts liability and risk on your personal assets, and why I don't suggest doing this. And it's also extremely complicated for tax purposes when people have done this. I've talked to lots of CPA friends of mine, and when people are using Venmo, one, they know that essentially their LLC is no longer intact, and they're like, it's a nightmare for tax purposes. We're literally having to go through all these Venmo transactions, and they have to make sure that they are indeed for personal or they are indeed for business, and we're having to, obviously decipher which ones go where. So that's okay. Like, if you've done this, it's all right, right? I'm just like, everybody calm down. But the transition here is the most important, and it's seamless and it's easy for both you and your customers. Because if they're used to paying you, I know lots of like HMUA people or estheticians oftentimes have their clients pay via Venmo, and you want to continue that, right? You want to be seamless with how you are processing payments for your customers so that they're like, oh, this is different. This is strange. You can easily just do this by linking your Venmo business profile to your personal account. So it's easy for them to select that they want to pay your actual business. And of course, there's QR codes. You can send it to them as well. And you're just going to say, we're still paying through Venmo, but I set up a business account. So just make sure you're paying there. And then if you give your customers the email address or phone number that's associated with your Venmo account, the payment will automatically be deposited into your personal account. So the one thing you want to do here is keep in mind that if you use your personal account to take payments from customers, you may be in violation of Venmo's policies and your account could be restricted. So I have also seen where you're not actually giving out the Venmo business profile QR code, or you're not actually transacting through that Venmo business account. You're accidentally transacting through personal. Venmo is actually flagging accounts to make sure that they are doing this correctly, because Venmo, of course, is going to enact this per transaction fee. So they want to be sure that the per transaction fees, you guys, also cover a bunch of customer liability for the third-party payment processor. So once they enact this fee, that's also to save your customers. If something were to happen or things were to go awry or refunds needed to be happening, or they wanted, your services didn't work or your products, were defective, then they can ask for a refund. And so all of those transaction fees are there to protect your customers and are also there to protect you, because then it puts it in the hands of the actual third-party payment processor to resolve those issues. We know this pretty well from like PayPal, right? So PayPal charges a fee. Well, everyone's like, where do these fees go towards? Obviously, PayPal's making money, but what they're also doing is paying their team to support you when someone is trying to file a chargeback or is filing something that says this is like a fraudulent payment or fraudulent charge, or there is any dispute related to the charges. So that is important because it takes it out of your hands and puts it in the third-party payment processor's hands, and it's an extra layer of protection for your customers. So again, just make sure you're not doing anything shady with your Venmo personal profile. If you do have a business profile attached, you want to keep those separate. Venmo will be able to watch out and, they're going to probably have their eyes on you a little bit more when you create a Venmo business profile. But this is a good thing, right? Because it's a great way to make sure that you're staying legally legit in the way that you're taking payments from your customers. And I always suggest more and more added layers of legal protection every step of the way through your business. The last thing I wanted to answer is, what if you decide that a business profile isn't actually for you after you've created it? So once you create one and then you're thinking, okay, this payment interface just isn't for me. It's, I'm not loving this. You still have the ability to close your Venmo business profile and you can keep your personal profile active. So that is an added bonus here. You can close that business profile at any time. You just contact Venmo, and you can also do it on your app. You follow the proper procedures there. To remain compliant with certain tax procedures, you may be required to provide Venmo with like a little bit more of business identity verification in order to close your business profile. I would encourage you, though, to think long and hard about closing your business profile once you've created it, because here's the catch. A business profile cannot be reactivated once it has been closed. So maybe just like keep it active, but no transactions are going in and out of that account. And then if you do decide to use it later on, obviously you can start having people pay, or you can start, having expenses through your business profile. But definitely think long and hard about closing it. But there is the ability to do it if you don't like how it works. So you guys, that's the episode. I hope you enjoyed kind of my take on why I think the Venmo business profile is really helpful right now. I love that LLCs can now use Venmo. It's seamless. I feel like especially in the United States, Venmo is king, queen. Like, it is the way to easily take payments from person to person now. And it's a great, valuable resource for us as we run online businesses. So I just think, taking this extra little step of creating your Venmo business profile, I promise you the transaction fees are there for a reason, and it's okay. And it's still way less on Venmo Business. But essentially, this business you've worked so hard to create with a separate business account, hopefully an LLC as well, all of that, protection bubble for liability and risk purposes is going to stay intact when you have a very, very specific Venmo business profile only for your business. So if you have any further questions, feel free. You can always reach out to me. I'm the Legal Paige on Instagram. You can go to thelegalpage.com. We have further resources on Venmo business profile there. And if you want to continue the conversation on, you guys know you can always hit me up in the Legal Paige community on Facebook. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. See, I told you being legally legit isn't so scary. Be sure to visit thelegalpage.com for all show notes. And it would be super awesome if you could head over to iTunes and leave a review. Last but not least, don't forget to join my free Facebook group for unlimited legal and biz Q&A. Chat soon, Legal Pagers.